People say that traveling or vacation won't solve your problems, that at the end of the day, you'll still be stuck with yourself and whatever you're running away from will catch up to you. I say those people are wrong. I get what they're saying, but just getting out of the environment that triggers the same patterns and routines and thoughts every day can give you the space to find a new way. And I was desperately in need of a new way to spend time alone. I used to love being alone, but after an unexpected move 6 months ago, my daily routine started to consist of wallowing in my room and doing nothing but work all day, every day. Then one day, I remembered that I had a message sitting in my inbox from Heidi at Art Park in Chatham, New York, where I had stayed once before. After I'd stayed the first time, we had talked about if I wanted to come back for a couple of nights and record a video and do my thing, which obviously I wanted to do. But I had been putting it off for months because I was too sad that I had no one to go with. That's absurd. So evidently something needed to change. So I responded. I said, "Hi Heidi, I'm on my way. Just me, myself, and I." After several hours of driving, I may look exhausted, but I was just keeping my eye on the prize, what I came here for, the hot tub. But before we could get to that, there were a couple key things I needed to do. First, I obviously needed to explore every nook and cranny. I don't know what it is about vacation that makes me start acting like everyday items are things I've never seen before. Oh, extra seasoning, knives, okay, just in case. Even Ziploc bags? I had just been cooped up for way too long. It felt like when you start a new open world game and you're clicking on every rock and every tree, even though it's just a rock and just a tree like 99% of the time. However, my journey quickly got disrupted because I found these built-in effects that my old camcorder has. I think I did this for like half an hour, and I guess that really took it out of me because I immediately had to lie down. I'm gonna figure out exactly what work I need to do, because I am shooting a film in like a week and a half. Oh shoot, 2 weeks? Okay, so let's do that now so that I can get into the hot tub for as much time as humanly possible, okay? Does that sound like a plan? I think it does. Let's go. Aha! What switch have I been flipping this whole time? What has that been turning on and off? I know it may look like I am just on my phone, but so much of making a film happen is texting and emailing. Guys, I have checked off half my to-do list for the evening, and one tick on the to-do list for later is to watch a movie. Thus, I think it's tub time. I think it's tub time. It's tub time. We're going to pretend that I just walked through that door, okay? Honestly, I was kind of expecting to feel lonelier by now. I've sort of forgotten over the past few years that I really do love being alone, and that, like, most of my childhood was me entertaining myself. It's hard after you're in a relationship where you're with someone, not 24/7, but basically as close as you can get. And any trip you take, you're gonna take together. And any new food spot you try, you're gonna try together. So it is odd. I have to sort of relearn this part. The hot tub makes it pretty easy though.
Do you want to play mermaids?
For dinner, we're preparing a very gourmet dish known as Trader Joe's frozen meal, which you would have already known had I included a Trader Joe's haul at the beginning of this video as I intended to. But what ended up happening instead is I tried one thing. I got French onion popcorn, declared it truly a revelation, and proceeded to eat a quarter of the bag without saying anything else. So my apologies. I considered actually cooking, for the content, but I think at this point I just have to admit that I kind of hate cooking. I love baking, and anything that I can get away with cooking that is also basically baking, no problem. You get all your ingredients out, you prep everything, you do one thing at a time, and then you in the cold food of out hot, eat the food. Cooking, it's like a million things at once. I don't know, it just stresses me out, but it's vacation. It's vacation, and who's there for me to impress? Nobody. So guess what? I'm gonna make my Trader Joe's frozen meal, and they're almost always delicious. Sue me. Does that not look delicious? Homemade, by the way. I just made this myself. How many servings is this? 3? Okay, it's 1. It is 1 serving for Riss, I think. Good job. I was right. First try. Let's take a little fork. This is the correct size for a fork, by the way. I need to start thinking thumbnails. I haven't done this in so long. This could be my thumbnail. Get a grip. I'm literally only halfway through. No, not halfway. I'm literally half an hour into the movie. The gnocchi was really good though. I only left 1. That's a snack for later. I actually feel really, really good right now. Okay, to be fair, I did have to stop filming for a while due to crying, but after that I went and sat in a hot tub. Good lord, life is good. And no one is here to even threaten messing with that vibe. Sorry, I'm lotioning my dry knees. I have the driest knees and the driest elbows in the world. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I feel really good right now. You may notice that my alarm says 8:30. For some reason, I woke up at 6, and I'm weirdly awake, so just let's roll with it, I guess. The first activity I'd planned for the day was a little hike. I can be very good at talking myself out of doing things, even if they're good for me, and I often rely on other people to get me out of the house, which is something I need to work on. So even though I really just wanted to get back in the hot tub and stay there all day, I got in the car and started driving before I could decide against it. I know it's a topic that's been covered thoroughly, but there is something magical about being alone in the woods. I'm one of those people that's always listening to music, but on this day I decided not to bring headphones so that it wasn't an option. And I was delighted to discover many things. How quiet it was, a single bird, how loud I walk, a trickling creek, how loud its source is. I sat there looking at this waterfall for a long time, and I started thinking, one might say I couldn't help but wonder, how long does it take for a body of water to be completely replaced with different water? How many of these molecules have already passed through this waterfall? Is there loot hidden behind it, or do the developers hate fun? My impulse is to make some kind of joke about my pondering, like how it's annoying or cliche or childlike. And I think that impulse is part of the reason why I never think about these kinds of things like I used to when I was a kid. But for once, I just let myself wonder and be amazed. On the way back, I let myself take the long loop and notice how much green there still is, even in the winter. And back inside, when I wanted to start thinking about the emails I hadn't checked in 3 whole hours, I let myself take spending time with myself as seriously as I do spending time with others, and I let myself go explore instead. Despite all the wonderful and productive conclusions I'd come to that day, once it was dinner time, it sort of settled in that I still had this whole evening just by myself, and also no option to get out of that, like I couldn't cancel on my plans with myself. I started feeling odd and restless and more or less over this whole having no one to hang out with business, until finally I realized I was just anxious, and my impulse is always to fight the anxiety and get on my phone or hang out with someone or eat something or consume, just, drown it out. It took me a long time of that not working to realize that it was not working. So on this evening, I decided to just try getting in the hot tub instead and to leave my phone inside, because why am I watching something on my phone when I could be in the hot tub? It takes about 10 seconds after getting out of the hot tub to start feeling really cold. So every time I felt my thoughts shifting to anxiety central, I would get out, wait to get cold, and then wait a few more seconds, and then wait a few more seconds until I felt like I was about to die. And then I would plunge in again and be all warm and be in my body again. I guess maybe that's part of why some people are so insistent on cold showers changing their life, but I'm not going to start taking cold showers. Okay, no matter how much you try to convince me, you cannot make me take cold showers. That's not relevant right now. Eventually, something in me finally settled. I started just reading my book to relax, and then started just looking around because it's so quiet. And suddenly, I realized that in that moment, I really felt like myself. Not to be a cliche, but I really have not felt like myself for basically a few years. But in the past 6 months or so, it's been coming back more in waves. And I thought about this while watching this light by the hot tub that was flickering. On the first day, I showed up and I thought it was completely out, but then it started flickering, and I swear to God, over the days that I was there, it seemed to be getting stronger. I'm not gonna make you listen to me do the obvious metaphor there. The point is, I just felt really at peace. And I was very proud of myself because I managed to assuage the loneliness and the resulting anxiety and not make the whole evening about running away from it. Instead, I sort of just felt it and redirected it until I was chilling. I should really do that a lot more. I should get a hot tub. I'm not going to say that this cured me for the sake of a tidy conclusion. I mean, right after this, I was immediately crushed under a mountain of work which seems to have no end, but it was such a deep relief to be reminded that even if it feels like you're never going to stop feeling lonely, or you're never going to get out of survival mode, or you're never going to stop being sick if you're like me. 3 viruses since Christmas, by the way. There will eventually come a day when you will feel good. And of course, that's so much easier to say if you can afford to go on vacation and get in a hot tub, and I'm incredibly lucky in that way. But even in day-to-day life, I can still touch base with myself and find ways to feel the good and peaceful feelings that can come from just thinking and wondering and being. And it's hard, and it takes practice, and life will always try to find a way to throw you off course. But now that I'm back home, instead of just finishing my workday and then distracting myself, I'm really trying to keep finding those moments for myself to just be in whatever way I can. If you're in need of a little getaway in the New York area, maybe Valentine's Day, and you want to check out Art Park, I highly recommend, and there's links in the description. I can't overstate how kind and helpful the owners are, and how lovely the whole thing is. Thank you all for sticking around and watching, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah.